Hi guys, so we are on Bearish Liquidity Model 3. So this one can be quite tricky, so we'll get into it. So we see a basic structure here where we had broken to the upside, we had broken structure down, and we came up for a retest. So two things can kind of happen in this situation, and this is why I say that you should really understand and really pay close attention to price action because that is ultimately what is going to help you as far as your entries, right? We understand liquidity, but we also want to pay attention to how the market is moving because there's going to be a lot of fake outs. I'm going to tell you right now, you will be faced with a lot of fake outs, and this is where your trade management, your psychology really comes into play. Then you just have to over time practice that and strengthen it. So we have this, and two things can happen. So we can either, well, people are either going to be looking for an entry, somewhere up here because we did already retest this area and drop, right? And we also have people that's going to be looking for an entry somewhere up here. Now, the reason why none of these are high probable as of yet is because there's no liquidity being built up under either of them, right? So the only way that this POI right here would be considered probable is, or high probable, would be if something like this were to happen. So if something like this were to happen where we created a low and we broke up to the upside and price was kind of moving like this, and we did something like this, then this would be considered a high probable setup, right? Because what happened here was compression. We have a compression built up liquidity right here. And so we're going to be using this as our liquidity to target. And when it does come up here, and it has a nice reaction, if price does come up here and breaks in the opposite direction, this is where you would sell off from. So this would be high probable if we do see price pushing up in this type of compression movement to this POI area. Now, price could also do something like this. It could also be a fake out. So although price would be moving like this up until this area, it could also be a fake out where price could do this, come down, right? Have that break of structure, and then it could literally push up quick, tap into this POI and fall. So this one is, like I said, a bit tricky. This is one of those structures where you really have to pay attention to price. Because it could fake you out. So if price was moving up to this area, personally for me, like I said, I would take this, especially with all of this liquidity. So what I would do is, if you do see this pattern happening within the market, and for this pattern, this doesn't happen too much, not as common as the first two models, but just be aware of it because this can happen. So I would definitely take this, and once I am tapped into my position right at this area, I would then place stops to break even. So I'll have a break even risk-free trade. And then if price were to do something like this where it came back up to take you out and then sold from this higher POI, then it's just going to do that. That's something that we just can't help as traders. Like, our job is to really just react to how the market is moving. So this move is something that I truly can't predict, but we can be very cautious when it comes to these moves based on liquidity alone. So although this would be, high probable, price can always do whatever it wants. Okay. So never forget that the market can do whatever it wants in terms of, taking people out. We never know what it's going to do, but in this situation, the safest thing to do is if you are going to take this trade, like I said, you should place stops quickly to break even. And then from there, it could be a risk-free trade. If price does end up taking you out, hit something right above that, then you can go ahead and just re-enter your position for a continuation to sell off. So, uh, yeah, like I said, this model pretty self-explanatory. Honestly, the all the other models is going to work the same way for bullish. So I'm probably just going to run through the bullish models really quick as well.